Is going on, everybody? This is Ben back with another video. What is going on? Hope everyone is having a great morning thus far. Another day, and I give honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and just thank God for another waking up for another day. And I want to talk a little bit about the Duke men and the Duke women. I got a chance to see their games on yesterday, and a little bit of the women's game, and they looked pretty good. It was a actual talking about the women's game against Oregon. It would have been really funny if Duke would have been going head to head with Oregon instead of Arizona, just to uh, give an interesting something to talk about, because I know that would have been a big talk if the Oregon men would have won. And so Duke will be getting ready to play the Oregon men instead of the Arizona men, but it's okay. But the Duke women against Oregon women, that was actually a really good game. It was going back and forth. I tell you, that was towards the end. That was it was tight. It was tight, but the Duke women they got the dub. They got the dub, and they also are known for their defense as well. They play solid defense as a group, and just happy for the Duke women. So I want to give a shout out to the Duke women for making to the Sweet 16. Obviously, want to give a shout out to the Duke men for defeating Baylor and by 23 or somewhere around in there. So they did cover. Um, they had Duke. It was about a 12-point spread for in the beginning. Excuse me. And it actually was a competitive game. Probably the first 10 minutes of the game or so. It was back and forth. Both teams making plays, and but Duke went on a 12-0 run. Probably within about 3 minutes left in the first half, and that broke the game open. And one thing what I'm learning about this Duke team is that when they go on those runs and they get started on a good, even the second half, I think both teams actually started pretty well. And but that's what I love about college basketball anyway. Teams gonna go on runs, but the key is that at some point you gotta stop. You gotta get stops at some point, or you're just gonna get they're just gonna keep going on a run, and run away with it. But it was pretty competitive in the beginning, but once Duke got going in the second half, it was pretty much done. It was pretty much done. One thing about this Duke team is that once they smell blood or whatever, man, they don't let up, man. They don't let up. They're gonna keep playing solid defense. They don't take plays off and stuff like that. And so that's what I love about this Duke team. What I love about this Duke team is their connectivity with one another. There's a connection with these guys. They're humble. They don't say, well, we won't. we want so and so. None of that. They just whoever they got play nets, they just get ready for that team, scout whatever, and go to work. And go to work. I mean, it's not no flashiness, no talking trash and all that stuff. About who they gonna beat and even not even talking about winning national championship. I know that's what their goal is, and that should be your goal. But even with that, you don't hear them. We gonna win. It's just taking care of business, and that's the reason why I was saying even with the Baylor game, I just felt like Baylor is a good team. Don't get me wrong, Baylor is a good team, but I just felt like the matchup was to Duke's advantage. Um, I just felt like the matchup was to Duke's advantage, and that's what this is all about. When it gets to the tournament, man, it's about matchups and stuff, and how you can take advantage. If you have a matchup advantage, how well you take advantage of those matchups and stuff over the other team. So got Arizona Nets, and I think that we beat them the first time. That was a long time ago. Both teams are totally different. I'm sure both teams have gotten better, and so but I just think that when it's all said and done, Duke is gonna beat Arizona and they're gonna be in the Elite Eight. Not sure. We have to see from there, but we gotta take care of Arizona first. Let's get that. Gotta take care of that first, and then go from there. But should be a good game though. Arizona evidently they are playing much better. But both teams are playing better. Both teams have gotten better. So it's not just one team. But I think we're more talented. And if we keep playing like we're playing, man, it's gonna be hard. We're gonna be a hard out. Put it that way. We're gonna be a hard out. But Proctor. Let's talk about Tyrese. Coach Shaw got emotional talking about Tyrese for a moment. That's the first time that I've seen him getting a little emotional. And it's because of all of the things that he's gone through. Tyrese has gone through. Duke made it to the Elite Eight last year. First of all, let's just say that they made it to the Elite Eight, playing their downtown rival, NC State. For some reason, I felt that NC State, and the funny thing about it is that Duke beat NC State in that very first game. During the regular season. And they beat NC State pretty good, And then in the tournament, they just played better. They just played better, and they beat Duke. Then of course met again in Elite Eight, and I just felt like it. I didn't feel comfortable with the NC State game. Well, first of all, Tyrese had an offer game, and that was horrible, because Duke needed him to have at least a halfway decent game for Duke to win, and he had an offer. That pretty bad. Probably his worst game out of the whole season, really. So of course, that was a bad taste in his mouth, and he came in and he came in early. He was young, came in and the talk was, he's probably gonna be a one and done and all that stuff. And freshman year was, decent, um, but he probably could have left. He probably could have left, you know, but it probably wouldn't have been the right decision for him as far as development and stuff, and thankful for Duke, you know. Now you got a guy who's been through ups and downs, injuries, and he is having a phenomenal tournament. I mean, shooting wise, he's always been pretty solid as far as defense. After his freshman year, his sophomore year, his defense started to really, that was important. That was a big deal for him to play defense. And he was a pretty good defensive player last year, and he had some good stretches offensively last year. I mean, I think Jared was probably our best player. Jared, Flip, and Tyrese, and then, Roach, and then go from there. But to see Tyrese, he went through some stuff, and that's the first time I seen Coach Shire get emotional over one of his players, and that's understandable, and I'm happy for Tyrese, man, because he really could have left. Everybody was thinking he was gonna be gone after 1 year, and then when the second year came, everybody was like, well, he's probably gone after this year, and he comes back again, his third year, and it really ended up being the right decision, for him, and definitely Duke is capitalizing off of his decision. I mean, because the tournament he's having right now, he's been on fire. I mean, he has been on fire. Shooting the ball, oh my goodness. I mean, it's like every time he shot it, it just looked like it was gonna go in. Every time. That stretch, when he was knocking them down, every time he let it go, it was like it's going in. But the key thing he said out of that whole thing was confidence. Confidence, shooting with confidence. And it just shows you that it really makes a difference. Your mental state, your confidence in yourself, it makes a difference. See, and you can shoot the ball. You can shoot it all day, and you can be a really good shooter. But if you're just shooting it just to be shooting it, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss. You got to shoot it with confidence, and that's really what it boils down to. He's playing with confidence. He's playing loose. He's believing that when it comes out of his hands, it's in there. It's money, and that's the reason why he's been shooting like he's been shooting. I mean, it's been awesome. I mean, it's been awesome. I'm loving it. Keep on. But he's been shooting with confidence, man, and it makes a difference. And I'm so happy for him. I really am. And I know these guys are, the job is not done yet. These guys want to win a championship. And you don't hear them talk about that a lot. You don't hear them bragging or boasting. this group, man, what a group this team has been. I mean, you know, I tell you, they got as good a shot as anybody to win the whole thing. They definitely do. You know, but you gotta take it one game at a time. But they're gonna beat Arizona. I know Arizona's probably want some get back and all that, but they gonna beat Arizona, and then I'm not sure after that, but they gonna get the job done against Arizona. And Arizona's a good team, but they gonna they gonna get the job done. They gonna get the job done. I believe it. I believe it. Anyway, so I just wanted to congrats to the Duke men and women for making it to the Sweet 16. And got more work to do, but enjoy this for a little bit. And then, you know, they're getting back to work, you know, get back to work, get back to practice, get back to getting ready for the next opponent. I forget who Duke women is going to be playing, but I know the Duke men's playing Arizona. And so, let's go, Duke. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. So I hope everyone have a great day. It was some great games. The buzzer beater, the Maryland game, and the Colorado State buzzer beater. Man, that was awesome. First buzzer beater in the tournament thus far, and you know, the big man took it. You know, the big man. Man, that's what I'm talking about. You talking about confidence? Give me the ball. Give me the ball. And normally you see a guard or maybe a small forward, you know, take a shot like that. Not a big man. Nah, the big man took the shot. The big man. I mean, I haven't seen much of Maryland, but I've heard about their starting five and how good, you know. Okay. The big man took the shot. And when you know, the coach is smart enough to know, okay, he spoke up, said, give me the ball. That's confidence. That's what I'm talking about with confidence. You're not going to say, give me the ball if you're not confident. You're not going to. Nah. See, that's one thing that you don't fake that. Either you got it or you don't. You know what I mean? You got the confidence, give me the ball, or you don't. He had the confidence. Now, does it always go in because you have confidence? Not always. But a lot of times it does. But the bottom line is, he said, give me the ball. Coach gave him the ball. They gave him the ball. He hit the shot. Hats off to Maryland. You know, hats off to Maryland. The first buzzer beater. So, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. I love. That's the reason why I love college basketball. That's the reason why I love college basketball, man. How can you not love this time of the year? You know. But so, man, this Sweet 16 game is gonna be. Whew, it's gonna be some good ones. It's gonna be some good games. It doesn't get any easier, but I think Duke will be ready to go when it's time to put the ball up in the air and get it going. They're gonna be ready. I'm wondering about Malik, if he's gonna be able to play at all in the tournament. You know, kind of curious about Malik. I mean, we're not at full strength. Let's just get that straight too. Not at full strength. But you know what, though? It, I feel like it's really ended up being a blessing. Ended up being a blessing in disguise. I'm going, guys.